Thank you very much, Shocks. And honestly, it really was just fantastic play put out by them. He said, we didn't want to come here and be tourists whatsoever. And they absolutely showed that even without time on the stage, in the group stages, they were still able to come out very strong.
Well, I think it was really smart of them to come out early and take advantage of all the teams in the group stages, setting up those scrims. They were a safe scrim partner for everybody in groups, right? Because no one had to face them. So it's a good strategy if you want to win some games later on. Come in, get yourself all warmed up.
They definitely put in the work, and it showed.
I do agree with what he said about Fnatic. It's a team you can never count on the way they play scrims as when you meet them in the LCS. We've done that. We've made that mistake once. I'm not saying they're not playing serious. They just have like a way different vibe to them. They try out what they need to try out, and they
was that the first time you found out about the Fnatic brush?
Oh no, we know about the Fnatic brush for a long time already. But yeah, Fnatic always surprise on LANs and on important matches. They really switch the switch around pretty much.
Yep.
And they go ham. And it's really nice to see how they always keep performing on LANs, while in the LCS they look sometimes a little shaky.
And let's get right into the picks and bans on this one, because I almost feel like, and obviously this wasn't between the two teams, but they said to each other, let's go ahead, give you your comfort picks, and we'll go at it. Just at each other's throats. Ari on one side, Zed on the other. Ari coming in as 9th pick on blue side, so that's their final. Something we haven't seen all tournament that Joe and Jat were talking about. Doublelift, start us off. What do you think about those picks and bans?
I think both team comps were actually really smart. So you saw on one side they had Shen and Lulu to kind of counter Zed, and on the other team they had a very disruptive assassin comp with Zed, Vayne, Rumble, and that just allows Vayne. There's so many threats on the team. You can't just focus Vayne or else you're just going to die. Both team comps were really well thought out, and Royal executed better.
On that point, I have to say the Lulu and Shen that they had to counter Zed in a crucial team fight in the mid, they actually used all of that crowd control with no damage coming out. Yeah. And so the execution, you're right, completely in Royal's favor there.
Yeah, we'll look at that replay in a little bit. But before we start talking about that, I'd really like to talk about the first Dragon fight, which occurred after, or was it? It was the Dragon fight that occurred after
Rumble got killed.
Rumble got killed up in top lane.
Right.
Because this was a big change in OMG's style for me, because throughout this tournament, they've been in the driver's seat. They've been the aggressors, forcing their strategy on other people for the most part. But that Rumble kill, yes, is Rumble critical to taking these dragons? Absolutely. But they Shen ported in. Loveland was still on Lee Sin up in the top lane trying to run to this dragon fight. And the single target damage coming down when they engaged a dragon was so high from the team composition run by Royal that they just lost the dragon. They lost the fight. If OMG had just played the top lane turret, tried to put pressure up there after Rumble had died, they could have come up with at least an even trade right there instead of unnecessary fighting.
And I think their strategy right there was, we think, because Chinese team fights last so long for the most part, they last 25 to 35 seconds, they thought that Lee Sin had enough time to kind of get in there. And you saw the biggest misplay right there was Son using his Varus ulti on only Sona, and then hesitating, what do I do? He should have just used it to disengage, wait for Lee Sin to get there, so it's a 45 situation.
And he did some wrong pathing as well, leaving one more shot on a Sona. I just want to point out how much confidence Royal is showing by running a team comp like this. This is basically a multiple threats. If you get behind at one point, you will never be able to kill people through Lee Sin, Shen, and all the shields, and so much damage coming out.
And not to mention, Rumble built Leandries first, so there's no tankiness here.
No way back. There's no way back.
Sword boots into Leandries into another blasting wand. He was not thinking about his own safety.
And let's look at that replay right now. Bring it up on your screen. How all of this came together, led up to this fight, and really the control that damaged the single target focus mounting you were talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to disrupt this composition, you have to use your CC perfectly, like we were talking about. So let's go ahead and roll this right here. So Loveland coming in, and Godlike with the big Rumble ult. But right here, they use the taunt and the Wild Growth just on Whites. Doesn't even take him down. Look at the Rumble ult, too, splitting the team. And that allows Uzi to be protected from both of his flanks and then roll up the fight from the rear.
That was also Tabe, what he was talking about, the three-man crescendo.
Yes.
That was on the priority targets there. Got Varus and Ari locked up that team fight right there.
And that was just a superior use of CC. But Godlike's Rumble ults were so on point, because in this composition, you must have good Rumble ults because you have to split up the team so that Vayne and Zed can get into a small skirmish and 1v1 people. And the other thing about that fight as well was we had both Blade of the Ruin Kings finished on Royal and no
Huge
DFG
burst.
yet on Ari. And so Royal was in a big item power spike right there. OMG hadn't quite made it there yet.
Final thoughts, gentlemen?
I just want to point out that was the second crescendo that won them. Like the first crescendo at the Dragon fight also was like super good by Tabe. Basically allows those really squishy mass damage characters to dish out way more damage for the 2 seconds that crescendo lost, and it basically gives them as if they would have more HP that they could use to tank the fight. No, they could put everything on damage and just one more combo. As Monty said, split them up, the ones that are split up to the front, put the CC on them, and then just blow them up.
And we can't end this segment without talking about Uzi, man. Like I know, like this guy. I knew he was this good. I didn't think his team was going to keep pace with him. I mean, obviously Uzi's the star of the show. His team played really well, but man, this guy, he is that good. He does live up to the hype. He played spectacular both games. He died 1 time in the first game, and he died 2 times in the second game. I mean, come on.
With his cleanse usage, I wonder if it's purely reactionary or if his game read is just that good that he just cleanses preemptively almost, because it's literally like a 0.1 seconds, 0.0 something. Like he's so quick.
From both champions, from Caitlyn and then on to Vayne. Doublelift, you'll be able to learn more from him tomorrow. But right now, we got to move on. We're going to head over to D-Man on the couch, who's hanging out with